Mini episode 257 of the FDH Lounge is brought to you by the Sports Train, the finest pure sports talk show on both terrestrial and internet radio. Follow them on the web at thesportstrain.net.
The FDH Lounge. You want to schedule your life around it.
A long time ago, on a gloomy, wet Cleveland spring night, two men stand alone amidst the late-night drizzle. Their voices echo across the vacant station parking lot as they debate the merits of the great American radio show that have been missing for far too long. On that night, an idea was born. That idea became the FDH Lounge. Welcome to the FDH Lounge.
Hello again, everybody. Rick Morris and Kyle Ross, your FDH Lounge dignitaries, breaking down for you the NFC East, taking a look back at 2012, a look ahead to 2013. Coming into the season, the toast of the NFL, the New York Football Giants. A lot of people expecting another good run out of them. I got to say, myself included, after what they did in winning the Super Bowl in the 2011 season. And just very, very disappointing season for them. But spoiler alert when looking at this division, to me, the team to beat coming into 2013. I think after having taken a year off here, I see some other teams in the division going through flux, particularly the teams in the Mid-Atlantic axis along there with them. Dallas is Dallas, so to me it's the Giants by default at the top of the division next year.
The Giants finished exactly where I thought they would. Mm-hmm. I did not have them making the playoffs this year, and I said they'd be 9-7 and 10-6 and just miss out. That's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Dallas was another team. I said 8-8. That's where they finished. So I had those two. Right on, spot on. The other two, on the other hand, were a different story, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
I had them reversed, basically. I thought Washington would be a 6-10 team and finish in last place. It's interesting to note that they were 3-6 at one point and looked like they were headed for 6-10 in last place. Now, Philadelphia, the team I picked to win the division, along with a lot of other people, they never got out of their own way. It was a disastrous last year for Andy Reid in the city of brotherly love, as they went 4-12, arguably their worst year ever under him, and he's gone now. Mm-hmm. This is the way I look at this division for 2013. Washington's clearly going to regress. They will not match last year's 10-win total. I think, along with Andrew Luck in Indianapolis, who we talked about when we broke down the AFC South, there will be a not necessarily a sophomore slump, but a second-year regression for the Redskins, like as there will be with the Colts. I think, honestly, look, it was tough. It's going to be tough to duplicate the magic they had in the second half season. RG3, who knows how his knee's going to be. They'll be, I think a 7-9, 8-8 team, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. The Eagles will improve. Yeah. They can't be any worse. With Chip Kelly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. I think he's
new offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur.
That scares me, actually. But what's interesting is, don't be surprised to see him just try some I'm not sold that Nick Folk is going to be the permanent starter.
No.
I've heard rumors that he may just, do a quarterback by committee. He's going to do some crazy things. And I realize that, the NFL is kind of always slow to react and take on these things. But they're going to improve on last year's 4-win total. Now, they're not going to challenge for the division, but I could see them getting to about 6 wins.
That's where
Philly.
I got them, 6 wins, yeah.
But I think Philly's still last, Washington's third, and that leaves two teams.
I got Washington at 6-10. I think they're going to struggle.
Wow.
I think they played over their heads this year.
You hate Washington, though, don't you?
Yeah, I
think
hate them.
You hate them.
I think
you hate them.
Well, look, I thought they were a fraud for a good part of the season. But look, I would have picked a little bit of regression even if RG3 was healthy.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, I think, best case scenario is he's getting back mid-season-ish.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I don't think that.
You don't think so?
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be one. But, I mean, everyone seemed to be fairly optimistic. But, look.
Well, I was asking Dr. Nick Riviera, and he was saying he thought November 1st. So.
Okay. Well, Adrian Peterson, these docs go overseas. But anyway, the obvious and predictable and probably correct call would be to forecast the Giants to win this division. They had a point differential of plus 85, which was almost 40 points better than the Redskins, who won the division. But you know what's interesting? Will I do it? I still have a lot of time
You're
to
going
change.
to do that. All right. Well, the one thing I will say,
here's the thing.
they don't have the Antichrist Rob Ryan as their defensive coordinator anymore, the most overrated defensive coordinator in the history of professional football. He's gone.
More on that when we get to the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be between the Giants and Dallas to win this division. This is it clearly is. Here's a storyline. There's never been a team that's played in its home stadium in the Super Bowl. We've seen a lot have come out kind of flat. Now, I'm not saying that
the Rams played in the Rose Bowl, close, but yeah, it never their home. And the 49ers played in Palo Alto, so it's been close.
Okay.
But you're right.
I'm not saying that doesn't mean the Giants can't win the division. Look, the Giants are probably the safe pick to win this division next year.
But you're right. Most teams don't even make the playoffs. How'd New Orleans do this past
Yeah,
season?
and we picked that. I'm saying don't sleep on them Cowboys. I think it's going to be very close. Right now, it's too close to call for me between the Giants and Dallas. One of them will supplant. Washington is not making the playoffs again. It's going to be the Giants or Dallas, and it can't be Philly. So it's going to be the Giants and Dallas.
And I have them both at 9 and 7. I see the New York Giants winning the division on the tiebreaker.
Also, you think Dallas will be competitive?
Yeah, I think they'll be competitive, but they're going to come up just short, as they always do.
They do. Look,
trademark
like
Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, look, the safe pick, looking at the point difference. Yeah, the Giants, they seemed like a playoff team for a lot of the year.
Yeah, they
just had some real eggs in there, especially on the road. You know, it's funny that everyone's like, "Oh, Eli's so much better on the road." They were 3-5 on the road this year.
Right,
6-2 at home. Dallas, can they lose at home all the time? I mean, they kind of turn it around towards the end. So it's good. We can agree that it's not going to be Washington and it's not going to be Philly winning this division next year.
No, that's true. And Dallas at 9 and 7 will miss the playoffs in a tiebreaker to a fellow dome team, not who you think they are, and no, not the other team you think they are. The other team that you're not even thinking of at this point. Dallas will miss to another 9 and 7 team in the tiebreaker.
Well, here's what's interesting. Do we agree that? Obviously, we do, because you just said that. This is only going to be the division champion making it, this division.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny that it's going to be a tough division, but it's not as strong as the North and the South, which is where the wild cards are going to come
from. And certainly not the West.
And the West. Well, the top half of the West. The top. I mean, I think.
Spoiler alert, I'm saying 3/4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you on that, but
yeah.
But look, yeah, you're right, and the West. So I think this is actually, it's funny. The AFC, 3 of the 4 divisions, we kind of agree on the whole stink and are basically going to be one team running away with it.
Yeah.
The East is probably the weakest division in the NFC.
I think that's clearly.
I mean,
with Washington's regression, with the fact that Philly is only going to be taking a half step up in their transition, Giants and Dallas are about where we left them. Yeah, that doesn't. That's a pretty good vacuum.
10 and 6 probably can win this division, and will get you to be the only team in the playoffs.
It would. 10 and 6 clearly would.
So I think we agree. Look, well, you said it that the Giants will, and I think that's the safe pick to make at this point.
Yeah, I think it's the safest pick by far. When you're,
I'll agree with you at this point. I'll agree with this with the right to change it before September that the Giants win the division.
Well, because we can rule out Washington
and Philly. That's what I'm doing. I'm
yeah.
saying it's going to be between the. I really want to see Dallas break through, but I just don't think they can.
No,
they just don't have that DNA. The Giants have been there before. They haven't had a losing season since like 2004, by the way. The Giants.
We talked about and perhaps based on what he's done or hasn't done in terms of coaching recently, maybe we should be calling him Jay Gruden's brother. But what about the talk of Jay Gruden's brother possibly coming back to coach the Cowboys in 2014?
If they don't make the playoffs this upcoming year, Jerry Jones will blow this thing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Jason Garrett should be the coach anyway.
Right.
But and it'll be really interesting.
University school graduate.
Yes. Well, it'll be interesting to see, if they come up short again, what happens with Romo, who I think is an upper hat. Who I think is. He's not quite top 10, but he's certainly top half in the
Homeless
league.
man's Brett Favre.
It's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh.
That's what I would call him.
He's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I mean, he puts up good numbers. He just stinks in the clutch.
He does. There's no question about that. All right, so looking at this again, looks like the Giants have about as favorable a terrain as they could possibly want.
Who draws the AFC West, by the way, in the NFC
AFC
next year?
West is
Who draws the
NFC East?
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting because that'll
they
help
also
you.
Play the NFC North, so it's going to be tough.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they draw the long straw with the AFC West.
Okay.
That is going to be beneficial for them. So that's how we see it next year with the NFC East. The Giants in a very, very strong position going in.
As we bring the show to a close, we would like to extend our deepest gratitude to NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox, all Clear Channel affiliates, TNT, TBS, USA, UPN, Deadspin.com, YouTube.com, YTMND.com, MySpace.com, various blogs, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, IamBoard.com, Billboard.com, Google.com, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, ESPN Classic, NBA TV, NFL Network, Sports Time Ohio, Athlon Magazine, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, The Boomerang Channel, QVC, BET, The Spice Channel, Steno Notebooks, Manwich, Papermate Office Supplies, waitresses, strippers, bartenders, garbage men, janitors, microwave popcorn, the writers of The Office, Scrubs, Entourage, My Name is Earl, Oz, Metalocalypse and the Boondocks, Aquafina, and the periodic table of elements.